Today's episode was made possible due to the generous donation of subscriber Sanador. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Very few games can truly say that they shaped the future of gaming. Even those that spawned genres would fail to be as appealing as their successors. They wouldn't make as big of a splash. Wolfenstein 3D would never become a household name, but Doom rolls off the tongue faster than a lesbian at Ron Jeremy's house. Platformers existed long before Super Mario Bros. Did, but they never got widespread appeal. Metroid and its sequels were massively successful, but the genre they spawned wouldn't hit mainstream audiences until Symphony of the Night expanded upon it, but you already knew that. You don't come to this retarded little corner of the internet for a fucking history lesson, now do you? And that's where we find ourselves today. The Metroidvania, which I still hate saying, is a genre that gets love across every gaming platform from the NES all the way up to PCs in 2017, and across just about every level of gaming development. Konami and Nintendo aren't the only ones exploring the style, even independent developers are putting their own spin on it, and that brings us to this week's little Animu love session with Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight. Brought to us by Bomb Service, a company I'd never heard of until this game was gifted to me, and funded through Patreon. They're not a big group, and they don't get a whole lot of money, and that of course translates to their games being rather small endeavors, but that's not entirely a bad thing. Their games are incredibly inexpensive, but easily worth the cost. Today's feature was a grand total of $10, with Momodora 3 being $2, and I think the rest are free, don't quote me on it. Either massive digression way, the games are inexpensive, not too terribly long, but well worth the money, and with enough gameplay to get out of it that it's easily worth the investment, and the kitten will not be quiet. This is Coconut. She could not be quiet, so now she gets to be in the video. Reverie Under the Moonlight puts us in control of Priestess Kaho, who is on a mission to seek help from a queen to end the horrible curse infesting the land. Are you done? Are you done being noisy? You done being in the episode, cat? Get out. How does she intend to do this, you ask? By brutally beating the ever-loving piss out of everything she comes across with a fucking leaf. The harsh, northern, isolated winter giving way to the mighty Mephistopheles maple, whose leaves are like steel. The great call of the winter moon driving her to the heart of the lowland foreigners and their martyr god. Not really, it's just some sacred leaf or some other anime bullshit. Either way, the story is neither complex nor deep. The curse is emanating from the queen. We have some short side stories to engage in. Queen is bad lady. Send her off to her gods. Cat fur flying around. I think I'm gonna choke on it. Bada bing, bada boom. Two possible endings, but if you're into the world scouring style of the gameplay, chances are, like me, you're going to get the good ending by default. Hi Coconut, I see you back there. You trying to get on that poster? You know what that is? That's Saints Row 2. It's older than you are, cat. As I say, it's not a very long game. I actually completed it in one sitting, on normal. This game isn't insanely difficult like Wings of V, but does give you some good challenge. Much like the Castlevania series, boss fights feature a more moderate amount of health, with the bosses doing a pretty hard number on you. But they're less of a test of endurance and focus more on learning patterns, which are pretty well telegraphed, and knowing when you should dodge or when you can just duck or sidestep an attack. I'm panicky as all shit, so that took me a little longer than it will others. As I said, on normal it's not too terribly difficult, but that's where New Game Plus comes in. Enemy placements change, damage gets higher, but it doesn't really affect all that much. Going from normal to hard to insane will get you more than your money's worth out of the play though. As far as gameplay goes, it's not too terribly complicated. You have your 3-strike melee attacks, your ranged attacks, equipable items, and your dodge button. Some items change properties of your attacks, others sacrifice health for extra damage, and you get upgrades to your bow and dodge. Again, not complicated, but it's the depth that is squeezed out of it that matters. Not every enemy is going to reward dodging behind them, and you may in fact just end up taking damage, for instance. It never gets too complex going from screen to screen, and each screen is its own puzzle that you solve with the skills and attacks you've acquired. She just has to be a part of this today. Soundtrack is good, it's soft-spoken when it needs to be, and bombastic with tone fitting the segments. And now we get to the part you've all been waiting for. Yes, this game does feature the single greatest boss fight in all of gaming history. Smack the titties! This is seriously my favorite thing ever. Duke Nukem just made it gross and awful. All in all, not a very wide puddle, but still deep as fuck. Characters never really get a whole lot of time for their stories, but they do have a visible impact. It's engaging, it's easy to pick up, it's got a great difficulty curve for mastery, fantastically crafted exploration with good telegraphing, a giant painting of young Venus, the latter from Snake Eater. What more could you possibly want from an indie studio? As I said at the start, very few games leave such big footprints so as to inspire generations of developers, both aspiring and professional, and Metroidvania isn't just a genre, it's a goddamn way of life at this point. Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight is easily a fantastic game that is well worth your time and money. If you can't support Bomb Service's Patreon, I'm sure purchasing their games will help just as much, and they could use the help. When I get the free time, I intend on checking out the other 3, and you should too. Or not. Don't let my stupid ass tell you what the fuck to do. I have a goddamn kitten interrupting my videos, for fuck's sakes. Go support them, or don't. I don't fucking care. You're a grown-ass man, aren't you? Or a grown-ass woman? Fuck you. Play video games. Have your episodes interrupted by cute little kitty cats. I'm the TheNecroswanson, and thanks again, Sanador.
What a thrill. With darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart. But you're so supreme.